The night sky over the small town of Redbrook was clear, stars twinkling brightly. A peculiar glow appeared among them, growing steadily larger. The object descended, shimmering as it approached the ground. Within moments, it transformed seamlessly into a large, inconspicuous weather balloon, drifting gently to a halt in a secluded field on the outskirts of town. Inside the balloon, two figures emerged. Zarnok, tall and slender with an aura of analytical detachment, adjusted his translation device. Beside him, Kilara, shorter and more animated, looked around with wide-eyed curiosity. "Atmospheric conditions are within expected parameters," Zarnok stated, his voice monotone yet precise. "Begin initial data collection." Kilara smiled, her eyes reflecting the lights of the distant town. "Look at all the colors. I can't wait to see their cultural expressions up close." They made their way toward the town, their appearance, thanks to advanced cloaking technology, completely ordinary to human eyes. As they approached the main street, they noticed a sign, "Welcome to Redbrook, home of unique traditions." "Fascinating," Kilara murmured. "It seems this town prides itself on its cultural activities. Perfect for our research." Their first encounter with a local was almost immediate. Dr. Emily Carter, who was on her evening walk, spotted them. She paused, observing the newcomers with curiosity and a hint of skepticism. "Good evening," she greeted cautiously. "I haven't seen you around before. New to town?" Zarnok stepped forward, his movements slightly stiff. "Yes, we have recently arrived. My name is Zarnok, and this is Kilara." Emily raised an eyebrow at their formal tone and unusual names, but extended her hand. "Dr. Emily Carter. I teach anthropology at the local university. What brings you to Redbrook?" "We are researchers," Zarnok explained, choosing his words carefully. "We are here to study human traditions and cultural practices." Emily's skepticism deepened, but she was intrigued. "Researchers, huh? Well, you've picked the right town. Redbrook is known for its unique celebrations. In fact, we have a pumpkin carving event tomorrow for Halloween." Kilara's eyes sparkled. "Pumpkin carving? That sounds delightful. We would love to observe and participate." Emily chuckled. "You're in for a treat then. How about I introduce you to someone who can show you around? Follow me." They walked through the quaint streets of Redbrook, the town's charm evident in its old-fashioned lampposts and decorated storefronts. They reached a small cafe, where a man was sitting at an outdoor table, enjoying a cup of coffee. "Alex, meet Zarnok and Kilara," Emily said. "They're here to study our traditions. Think you can show them around?" Alex Martinez looked up, his friendly smile widening. "Sure thing. Always happy to meet new people. Welcome to Redbrook, folks. Have a seat." Zarnok and Kilara took seats, their expressions a mix of curiosity and politeness. Alex leaned back, eyeing them with interest. "So what exactly are you looking to learn about our traditions?" "We seek to understand the underlying cultural significance and the emotional engagement of your traditions," Zarnok replied. Alex blinked, then laughed. "Well, that sounds fancy. You'll find Redbrook's traditions are mostly about having a good time and bringing people together. Take Halloween, for instance. It's all about costumes, candy, and carving pumpkins." Kilara leaned forward. "Costumes? Like disguises?" "Exactly," Alex said. "People dress up in all sorts of outfits. It's fun and a bit spooky. Kids go trick-or-treating, getting candy from neighbors." Zarnok tilted his head. And the purpose of carving pumpkins? Alex grinned. It's called a jack-o'-lantern. We carve faces into them, put a candle inside, and set them out to ward off evil spirits. At least, that's the tradition. Mostly, it's just for fun these days. Emily, who had been listening, added, "It's a blend of old superstitions and modern festivities. You'll find a lot of our traditions are like that, mixes of historical customs and contemporary practices." Kilara's enthusiasm was palpable. "This is wonderful. We would love to participate in the pumpkin carving event tomorrow." Alex clapped his hands together. "Perfect. I'll pick you up in the morning and we can get started. You two are in for an experience." As the evening wound down, Emily offered to help the aliens find a place to stay. "There's a charming bed and breakfast nearby. The owners, the Thompsons, are lovely people, and I'm sure they'll have room for you." Zarnock nodded appreciatively. "Thank you, Dr. Carter. Your assistance is invaluable." Emily smiled. "Just call me Emily. And welcome to Redbrook. I have a feeling your visit is going to be quite enlightening." As they walked toward the bed and breakfast, Kilara whispered to Zarnock, "This is going to be an extraordinary research mission, Zarnock. I can feel it." Zarnock glanced at her, his expression softening slightly. "Indeed, Kilara. Let us gather all the data we can." With that, they entered the warm, inviting home of the Thompsons, ready to embark on their journey of discovery in this quaint town, full of peculiar traditions. Chapter 2. The Pumpkin Carving Incident. The sun was shining brightly the next morning as Alex Martinez arrived at the Thompsons' bed and breakfast. He found Zarnock and Kilara already waiting outside, looking eager and somewhat out of place among the autumn decorations that adorned the front porch. "Morning, folks. Ready for some pumpkin carving?" Alex greeted them with his usual cheer. "Good morning, Alex," Zarnock replied, his tone as formal as ever. "We are prepared to observe and participate in this cultural activity." Kilara nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, we are very excited to learn more about this tradition." "Great. Follow me then." "The event is being held at the town square," Alex said, leading them through the bustling streets of Redbrook. The town square was a hive of activity. Tables were set up with large orange pumpkins, and families were busy carving intricate designs into them. Children laughed as they scooped out pumpkin guts, while adults focused on creating the perfect jack-o'-lantern. "This looks messy," Zarnock observed, watching a child fling a handful of pumpkin innards at his sister. "It's all part of the fun," Alex said with a grin. "Here, let me introduce you to some folks." They approached a table where a group of teenagers were skillfully carving pumpkins. "Hey everyone, meet Zarnock and Kilara. They're here to learn about our traditions." "Hi there," one of the teens, a girl named Jenny, said. "You guys ever carved a pumpkin before?" "Not exactly," Kilara admitted, eyeing the array of carving tools with fascination. "Could you show us how it's done?" "Sure thing," Jenny said, handing them each a pumpkin and a set of tools. "First you cut off the top to make a lid. Then you scoop out the insides." Zarnock and Kilara followed her instructions, though Zarnock's movements were precise and calculated, more like a surgeon than someone enjoying a festive activity. "Next, you draw your design on the pumpkin and start carving," Jenny continued. Kilara's eyes sparkled as she drew a simple, smiling face on her pumpkin. Zarnock, however, hesitated, his analytical mind struggling to see the purpose of the activity. "Why do you carve faces into these vegetables?" Zarnok asked. "It's a tradition to ward off evil spirits," Jenny explained. "Plus, it's fun, and looks cool when you put a candle inside." Zarnok nodded, somewhat unconvinced, and began to carve. His precise scientific mind led him to create intricate patterns, unintentionally forming a symbol that closely resembled an ancient alchemical sign. "Zarnok, what did you carve?" Alex asked, peering over his shoulder. "It is a symbol from our home planet that represents energy conversion," Zarnok explained. Alex laughed. "Well, it looks interesting. Let's see what the locals think." As the townsfolk began to notice Zarnok's creation, murmurs spread through the crowd. Emily Carter, who had arrived to observe the event, approached with a concerned look. "Zarnok, that symbol. It looks a lot like an ancient curse mark from local folklore," Emily said. Zarnok frowned. "That was not my intention. It is a scientific symbol, not a curse." The townspeople, however, were growing uneasy. An elderly woman pointed at the pumpkin and whispered to her friend, "It looks like the mark of the old legends. Could it be a bad omen?" Alex quickly stepped in, trying to defuse the situation. "Folks, it's just a misunderstanding. Zarnok here is new to our traditions and didn't know. It's not a curse or anything like that." But the whispers continued, and a few people started to edge away from the table. Sensing the growing tension, Kalara stepped forward. "We apologize for any distress this has caused. It was an innocent mistake. We are here to learn and respect your traditions," Kalara said, her voice sincere and calming. Emily nodded in agreement. "Let's not jump to conclusions. Remember, they're here to understand our culture, not to cause harm." One of the children, sensing the tension but not fully understanding it, pointed at Zarnok's pumpkin and giggled. "It looks funny. Can you teach me how to make one like that?" The crowd's mood lightened slightly at the child's innocent remark. Alex took the opportunity to crack a joke. "Yeah, Zarnok's carving skills might need a bit of work, but hey, it's all part of the learning process, right?" Laughter rippled through the crowd, easing the tension further. Jenny stepped up next to Zarnok and patted his arm. "Don't worry about it. Just try a simple face next time, like this," she said, showing him her pumpkin with a classic jack-o'-lantern grin. Zarnok nodded, grateful for the guidance. "Thank you, Jenny. I will attempt a more traditional design." As the event continued, the initial scare was forgotten, and the townspeople resumed their carving and laughter. Zarnok and Kalara, now more mindful of the cultural sensitivities, joined in with renewed enthusiasm. By the end of the day, they had created more traditional pumpkins and gained a deeper understanding of the Halloween tradition. Zarnok, in particular, realized the importance of context and cultural awareness in their research. As they walked back to the bed and breakfast, Kilara turned to Zarnok. "Well, that was quite an experience." "Indeed," Zarnok agreed. "We have much to learn about the nuances of human traditions, but I believe we made progress today." Alex, walking beside them, chuckled. "You two did great. Just wait until you see what we have in store for Black Friday." With that, they all laughed, the day's events having brought them closer together and set the stage for more adventures to come. Chapter 3. Black Friday Madness. The morning after Thanksgiving, the streets of Redbrook were unusually crowded. People lined up outside stores, clutching flyers and sipping hot coffee to ward off the chill. Zarnok and Kalara, accompanied by Alex, stood at the edge of the scene, observing the hustle and bustle with wide-eyed curiosity. "Why are these humans gathering in such numbers?" Zarnock asked, his brow furrowed in confusion. "It's Black Friday," Alex explained. "It's the day after Thanksgiving when stores have huge sales. People go crazy trying to get the best deals." "Crazy indeed," Zarnock muttered, watching a woman elbow her way to the front of a line. "What drives such behavior?" "Desire for bargains, mostly," Alex said with a grin. "It's a tradition of sorts. You guys should see it up close. Want to join the fun?" Kilara's eyes sparkled with interest. "Yes, I'd love to see how humans interact in this environment." Zarnock hesitated, but nodded. "Very well, for the sake of research." They approached a large department store just as the doors opened. The crowd surged forward, spilling into the aisles in a chaotic wave. Inside, people grabbed items from shelves with fervor, baskets filling rapidly. Zarnock observed, perplexed. This behavior seems inefficient. There is a lack of orderly process. "Efficiency isn't exactly the point," Alex said, chuckling. "It's more about the thrill of the hunt for bargains." Kilara nodded, jotting down notes on a small tablet. "Fascinating. The energy here is palpable." As they wandered through the store, they encountered a display advertising doorbusters. Zarnock read the sign, his eyes narrowing in confusion. "Doorbusters? Are these items designed to break through doors?" he asked, genuinely puzzled. Alex laughed. "No, Zarnock. It just means they're really good deals that draw people into the store." Zarnock nodded slowly. "I see, though the term is somewhat misleading." A commotion near the electronics section caught their attention. Two shoppers were arguing over the last flat-screen TV on sale. The situation escalated quickly, with shouting and a tug-of-war over the box. "This is highly illogical," Zarnock remarked. "Such conflict over material goods." Kilara stepped forward, trying to intervene. "Excuse me, perhaps there is a way to resolve this peacefully?" One of the shoppers, a burly man, turned to her, anger in his eyes. "Stay out of this, lady. I saw it first." "Clearly a misunderstanding," Zarnock said, stepping beside Kilara. "The principles of supply and demand should be—" Before he could finish, store security arrived, misinterpreting the aliens' involvement as instigating the fight. "All right, break it up. What's going on here?" the guard demanded. "We were merely attempting to mediate," Zarnock explained. "These humans were—" Yeah. Tell it to someone who cares," the guard said, grabbing Zarnock by the arm. "You two are coming with me." Kilara tried to protest. "We are researchers. This is all a misunderstanding." Alex quickly jumped in, waving his hands. Whoa, it's okay, officer. They're with me. Just a couple of out-of-towners trying to understand our crazy traditions." The guard looked skeptical, but released Zarnock. "Fine, but keep them out of trouble. Got it?" "Got it, thanks," Alex said, breathing a sigh of relief as the guard walked away. "That was close." Kilara looked at Zarnock, her eyes wide. "This shopping tradition is far more intense than I anticipated." Zarnock nodded, adjusting his jacket. "Indeed. The levels of aggression and competitive behavior are unexpected." As they continued through the store, they stumbled upon a display of high-demand toys. A sign declared them limited stock, which immediately drew a crowd. Zarnock and Kilara observed as shoppers grabbed items with a frenzied urgency. "Limited availability seems to exacerbate the chaotic behavior," Zarnock noted. Kilara nodded. "Scarcity principle in action. Humans seem to value items more when they perceive them as limited." Alex, watching them with amusement, couldn't resist a joke. You two really know how to analyze a sale. Maybe next time we'll bring a calculator and a behavior chart. Zarnok turned to Alex, his face serious. A calculator would indeed be useful in understanding the economic factors at play. Alex laughed. It was a joke, Zarnok. But you know what? You might be onto something. Their adventure continued, filled with more observations and a few close calls. By the end of the day, Zarnok and Kalara had a trove of data and a deeper, albeit bewildering, understanding of human shopping behavior. As they left the store, Kalara turned to Alex. This has been quite an enlightening experience. Thank you for guiding us through it. Alex grinned. No problem. You guys did great. Just wait until you see how people react during Christmas sales. Zarnok sighed, looking at the bustling town square. I can only imagine. But for now, I believe we have gathered sufficient data for our analysis. They walked back to the bed and breakfast, the chaos of Black Friday slowly fading behind them. Despite the confusion and conflict, Zarnok and Kalara felt a sense of accomplishment. They had not only survived, but also gained invaluable insights into one of Earth's most peculiar traditions. Chapter 4. New Year's Eve. Mishap. Redbrook buzzed with excitement as the townspeople prepared for the grand New Year's Eve celebration. Lights were strung up across the town square, and a stage was set for live music. Stalls sold festive treats, and the air was filled with anticipation. Zarnok and Kalara walked through the busy streets with Alex, absorbing the vibrant energy around them. Kalara's enthusiasm was palpable as she took in the decorations and listened to the chatter of excited children. "This is marvelous!" Kalara exclaimed. "The colors, the lights, the music. What a delightful way to celebrate." Zarnok, however, looked perplexed. "I fail to understand the purpose of celebrating the transition of one arbitrary point in time to another. The Earth's orbit is continuous." Alex chuckled. "You're right, Zarnok, but it's not just about the time. It's a chance for people to reflect on the past year, make resolutions for the next one, and have a bit of fun." "Ah, a symbolic fresh start," Zarnok mused. "Interesting." Kalara turned to Zarnok, her eyes gleaming. "We should contribute something special to the celebration. What about a fireworks display? I've read that it's a common tradition." Alex grinned. "Now that's a great idea. Everyone loves fireworks." Zarnok nodded, though his analytical mind began to calculate the potential risks. "Very well. We shall prepare a display. However, we must ensure it adheres to human safety standards." Back at the bed and breakfast, Zarnok and Kalara worked on creating their fireworks. Utilizing their advanced technology, they designed intricate, colorful displays that promised to be breathtaking. They tested small samples in a controlled environment, and everything seemed to go smoothly. As evening approached, the town square filled with people. The excitement was palpable as the countdown to midnight began. Zarnok and Kalara set up their fireworks with meticulous care, ensuring everything was perfect. Alex joined them, carrying a thermos of hot cocoa. "You two ready for the big moment?" Kalara beamed. "Absolutely! This is going to be spectacular." Zarnok adjusted his equipment. "All systems are operational. We are prepared." As the clock ticked closer to midnight, the townspeople gathered in the square, their voices rising in a chorus of anticipation. Emily Carter approached, curious about the aliens' contribution. "So what do you have in store for us?" Emily asked. An advanced fireworks display, Zarnock replied. It should provide a visually stunning experience. Kilara added excitedly, we've incorporated some unique patterns and colors that are sure to amaze. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Zarnock and Kilara took their positions, ready to launch their creation. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Zarnock pressed the button, and the fireworks shot into the sky. The first few bursts were mesmerizing. Brilliant colors and intricate patterns illuminated the night, eliciting gasps of awe from the crowd. But then, something went wrong. The advanced technology, designed for a different atmosphere, started to malfunction. The fireworks became erratic, exploding in unexpected directions. A particularly large burst sent shockwaves that rattled windows and set off car alarms. People screamed and ducked for cover. Panic spread quickly as the malfunctioning fireworks created chaos. Emily and Alex rushed to calm everyone down, while Zarnock frantically tried to regain control of the display. "This was not supposed to happen," Zarnock shouted, his usually calm demeanor shattered. Kilara looked horrified. "We need to shut it down, Zarnock. Now!" Zarnock managed to deactivate the system, but the damage was done. The media, ever vigilant, had captured the chaos on camera, and within minutes, news outlets were broadcasting the incident. Reports of mysterious, high-tech fireworks gone awry spread like wildfire. Alex, trying to lighten the mood, turned to Zarnock and Kilara with a wry smile. "Well, your fireworks were definitely out of this world. Literally." Zarnock sighed, his shoulders slumping. "We have caused unintended distress. This was meant to be a joyous occasion." Emily approached, her face a mix of concern and sympathy. "It's okay. You tried to share something special, and that's what counts. We'll handle the fallout." As the townspeople began to recover from the shock, many were surprisingly understanding. They gathered around Zarnock and Kilara, offering words of encouragement and thanks for their effort, despite the mishap. "We know you meant well," one elderly man said, patting Zarnock on the back. "It was an unforgettable New Year's Eve, that's for sure." The local news interviewed several residents, most of whom expressed a mix of amusement and appreciation for the aliens' attempt to contribute to the celebration. Back at the bed and breakfast, the trio reflected on the night's events. Kilara looked at Zarnock with a determined expression. "We'll do better next time. This was a learning experience." Zarnock nodded. "Indeed. We must understand the limits of our technology within human parameters, but we have gained valuable insights." Alex raised his mug of hot cocoa in a toast. "To unforgettable New Year's celebrations and the spirit of trying new things, here's to more adventures in the coming year." They clinked their mugs together, the warmth of their camaraderie a comforting end to an eventful night. Chapter 5. Rising Tensions. The aftermath of the New Year's Eve incident rippled through Red Brook. News outlets debated the event, with some portraying Zarnock and Kilara as bumbling visitors, while others hinted at more sinister intentions. Social media buzzed with speculation and heated discussions. The town was becoming a cauldron of mixed emotions. At the heart of the storm was Mayor Jackson, a seasoned politician known for his calm demeanor. He was inundated with calls and emails from concerned citizens, local businesses, and even state officials. The pressure was mounting. "We need to address this head-on," the mayor said during a hastily arranged town council meeting. "We'll hold a town hall and let everyone speak their mind. Zarnok and Kilara must be there to explain themselves. The council agreed, and the meeting was set for that evening. News spread quickly, and by dusk, the town hall was packed with residents, reporters, and a palpable sense of tension. Zarnok, Kilara, and Alex arrived early, taking seats at the front of the hall. Emily joined them, offering moral support. The atmosphere was charged, a mix of curiosity, fear, and anticipation. Mayor Jackson stepped up to the podium. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice. We are here to discuss recent events and address any concerns regarding our guests, Zarnok and Kilara." He nodded to the aliens, who stood up and approached the microphone. "Greetings," Zarnok began, his voice calm and measured. "We apologize for the unintended disturbance during the New Year's celebration. Our goal is to learn about your culture and share our knowledge, not to cause harm." Kilara added, "We understand your concerns and are here to address them openly. Please, ask us anything." A murmur ran through the crowd before a middle-aged man stood up, his expression stern. "How do we know you're not here to spy on us, or worse?" Zarnok responded, "Our mission is purely scientific and cultural. We have no ulterior motives. Our technology and knowledge can benefit humanity if used collaboratively." A woman holding a young child spoke next. "What about the fireworks? They could have seriously hurt someone." "We deeply regret the malfunction," Kilara said sincerely. "We underestimated the differences between our technology and your environment. It was a grave mistake, and we are taking steps to ensure it doesn't happen again." The tension in the room remained thick. Mayor Jackson called for order as voices began to rise. "Please, let's keep this civil," he urged. "Alex, perhaps you can help us understand better?" Alex stepped up, a grin on his face despite the gravity of the situation. "Ladies and gentlemen, imagine if we were on a reality TV show. This episode would be called Aliens Meet Small Town USA, right? And like every good show, there's drama, misunderstandings, and, hopefully, a happy ending." Laughter rippled through the crowd, breaking the tension for a moment. Even Zarnok and Kilara couldn't help but smile. "Look," Alex continued, "Zarnok and Kilara are here to learn and share. They've made mistakes, sure, but who hasn't? Remember when we tried to deep fry a turkey last Thanksgiving and almost burned down the garage? Same deal, folks. They're learning our ways, and sometimes that means stumbling a bit." A young girl raised her hand, and the mayor nodded for her to speak. "Do you have families back home?" Kilara's face softened. "Yes, we do. And they are very interested in learning about Earth through our experiences here. We miss them, but this mission is important to us." An elderly man stood up next. "What can you offer us in return for letting you stay?" Zarnok responded, "We have advanced knowledge in various fields, medicine, energy, and environmental sciences. We wish to share this knowledge for the betterment of humanity." The room buzzed with whispered conversations. Mayor Jackson took the podium again. "It's clear we have a lot to discuss and many emotions to address. Let's keep talking, listening, and finding common ground." As the meeting continued, more residents voiced their concerns, but the mood slowly shifted from hostility to cautious curiosity. By the end, many questions remained, but a tentative bridge of understanding had been built. Walking out of the town hall, Alex turned to Zarnok and Kilara. "That was intense, but you guys handled it well." Zarnok nodded. "We must continue to build trust. It's a long process, but tonight was a step forward." Kilara smiled. Agreed. We're learning and growing together. This is what true exploration is about. As they walked back to the bed and breakfast, the tension of the day began to fade, replaced by a sense of cautious optimism. They knew the road ahead would be challenging, but they were ready to face it together. Chapter 6. Bridging the Gap. Dr. Carter and Alex sat across from Zarnok and Kilara at a cozy cafe in Red Brook, their faces earnest as they presented their proposal. "We've been thinking," Dr. Carter began, "about how to foster better understanding between the townspeople and our alien guests. We believe a cultural exchange program could be the answer." Alex nodded in agreement. "Yeah, we thought it might be a good idea for you two to experience some of our traditions firsthand. It could help bridge the gap and show people that you're not so different after all." Zarnok and Kilara exchanged glances, considering the suggestion carefully. "We are hesitant," Zarnok admitted, "but we understand the importance of building trust and mutual respect. We are willing to try." "Great!" Alex exclaimed, his enthusiasm contagious. "We'll start with a series of events where you can participate in human traditions in a controlled, educational setting. How does that sound?" Kilara smiled. "That sounds like an excellent opportunity. We appreciate your efforts to facilitate this exchange." The first event was a cooking demonstration held at the local community center. Zarnok and Kilara watched as a chef demonstrated how to make a classic American apple pie. Zarnok observed intently, his analytical mind processing the steps with precision. "Interesting. The process of pie making involves precise measurements and temperature control." Kilara giggled. "Yes, but it's also about love and creativity. You can't quantify that with numbers." Zarnok nodded, though he still seemed skeptical. "Understood. I will attempt to apply both scientific principles and emotional intuition to the task." As the demonstration progressed, Zarnok's determination to apply his scientific approach became evident. He meticulously measured each ingredient, precisely following the recipe down to the last decimal point. Kilara, on the other hand, embraced the spirit of spontaneity, adding a dash of cinnamon here and a sprinkle of sugar there with a playful grin. As they prepared to put their pies in the oven, Zarnok glanced at Kilara's creation. "Your pie appears irregular." Kilara laughed. "That's the beauty of it. It's unique, just like us." The baking process was uneventful until it came time to remove the pies from the oven. Zarnok, confident in his calculations, opened the door and reached in without hesitation. But as he pulled out the tray, disaster struck. The pie crust, overly browned and crispy, shattered like glass, sending apple filling flying in all directions. The room erupted into laughter as Zarnok stared at the remains of his creation in dismay. Kilara rushed to his side, stifling giggles. "Looks like you applied a bit too much precision, Zarnok," Alex joked, patting him on the back. Zarnok sighed, but a smile tugged at the corners of his lips. "I suppose there is more to cooking than scientific formulas." The group spent the rest of the evening sampling the chef's perfectly baked pies, including Zarnok's failed attempt, which surprisingly tasted delicious despite its appearance. As they left the community center, Zarnok and Kilara reflected on the day's events. Perhaps there is value in embracing spontaneity and emotion, Zarnok mused. Kilara nodded, her eyes twinkling with amusement. And sometimes It's okay to let go of precision and just enjoy the process. As they walked back to the bed and breakfast, they felt a newfound sense of camaraderie and understanding. Despite the mishaps, the cultural exchange program was off to a promising start. Chapter 7. Climax at the Festival. The town of Redbrook buzzed with anticipation as the day of the festival arrived. The culmination of the cultural exchange program, it promised to be a celebration of unity and understanding. However, there was an underlying tension in the air, as lingering doubts and fears still lingered among some residents. Zarnok and Kalara, aware of the stakes, made a conscious decision to fully immerse themselves in the festivities, determined to show their goodwill and commitment to building bridges between their two worlds. As the festival kicked off, the town square transformed into a colorful spectacle. Stalls lined the streets, offering a variety of foods, crafts, and games. Music filled the air, and laughter echoed through the crowd. Zarnok and Kalara navigated through the throngs of people, taking in the sights and sounds with genuine interest. They sampled local delicacies, admired handmade crafts, and even tried their hand at carnival games, much to the amusement of onlookers. But as the day wore on, tensions began to simmer beneath the surface. A group of skeptical townsfolk exchanged wary glances as they watched the aliens' every move, their distrust palpable. Just as the atmosphere threatened to sour, a misunderstanding threatened to escalate into a serious conflict. A young child accidentally bumped into a vendor's stand, causing a display of fragile glassware to come crashing down. The vendor, furious, accused the child of vandalism, while the child's parents vehemently protested their innocence. The situation quickly escalated, with angry words exchanged and fists clenched in anger. Zarnok and Kilara, sensing the impending conflict, sprang into action. Kilara approached the vendor, her voice calm and soothing as she offered to compensate for the broken items. Meanwhile, Zarnok spoke to the child's parents, explaining the situation and diffusing their anger with logic and reason. Through their combined efforts, the situation was resolved peacefully, much to the relief of the onlookers. As tensions eased, the festival resumed, and the mood lifted once more. As night fell, the festival reached its climax with a vibrant display of music and dance. Zarnok and Kalara found themselves swept up in the energy of the crowd, joining in the festivities with enthusiasm. But as the music changed to a lively folk tune, Zarnok's analytical mind struggled to comprehend the intricate steps of the traditional dance. He watched the townsfolk with furrowed brows, attempting to mimic their movements with awkward precision. Kilara, noticing his struggle, couldn't help but laugh. "Relax, Zarnok. It's not about getting every step right. It's about feeling the music and letting go." Zarnok nodded, though he still looked uncertain. "I will endeavor to do so." As the music swelled, Zarnok took a deep breath and let himself be carried away by the rhythm. He stumbled at first, his movements stiff and awkward. But gradually, he began to relax, his movements becoming more fluid and graceful with each passing moment. The crowd cheered as Zarnok and Kilara danced together, their movements a blend of human and alien grace. And in that moment, as they twirled beneath the starlit sky, all thoughts of differences and tensions melted away, replaced by a sense of joy and unity. As the music faded and the festival drew to a close, Zarnok and Kalara stood together, breathless but exhilarated. They exchanged smiles, knowing that despite the challenges they had faced, they had come through stronger and closer than ever before. Chapter 8. Resolution and New Beginnings. As the last strains of music faded into the night, the town square erupted into cheers and applause. The festival had ended on a high note, with humans and aliens alike finding common ground and sharing genuine moments of connection. Dr. Carter and Alex were praised for their tireless efforts in facilitating understanding between the two worlds. Mayor Jackson, standing on stage, addressed the crowd with a smile. "Ladies and gentlemen, today marks a historic moment for our town. Thanks to the dedication of Dr. Carter, Alex, and the unwavering spirit of cooperation from our alien guests, we have reached a new understanding." The crowd erupted into cheers, clapping and whistling in celebration. Zarnok and Kilara stood among them, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. Mayor Jackson continued, "It is with great pleasure that I announce the establishment of a permanent cultural exchange program. This program will allow us to continue building bridges of understanding and friendship with our extraterrestrial neighbors." The crowd cheered once more, the excitement palpable in the air. Zarnok and Kilara exchanged smiles, knowing that their journey had been just the beginning of a new era of cooperation and mutual respect. As the festivities drew to a close, Alex stepped up to the microphone, a mischievous twinkle in his eye. "Well, folks, it looks like we've reached the end of our little reality TV show, and what a finale it's been." The crowd laughed, appreciating Alex's humor as he continued, "Who would have thought that the aliens would turn out to be the surprise fan favorites? It's like something out of a cheesy sitcom, am I right?" More laughter filled the square as Alex wrapped up his speech, his words a light-hearted reminder of the journey they had all been on together. As the night drew to a close, Zarnok and Kilara found themselves surrounded by well-wishers, shaking hands and exchanging heartfelt goodbyes. Despite the sadness of parting, they knew that their experiences on Earth had forever changed them. Back at the bed and breakfast, Zarnok and Kilara packed their belongings, ready to return to their home planet. They reflected on their time in Red Brook, feeling grateful for the friendships they had forged and the memories they had made. As they bid farewell to Dr. Carter, Alex, and the townspeople who had welcomed them with open arms, Zarnok and Kilara felt a sense of hope for the future. Though their journey on Earth was ending, they knew that it was just the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. With a final wave goodbye, Zarnok and Kilara boarded their spacecraft, ready to embark on the journey home. As they soared into the starry expanse of space, they carried with them the memories of their time on Earth and the promise of new beginnings yet to come.